隣のデスクになった時約束したはずですよ。2日に一度はお風呂に入る。
Every other day.
うるさいねお前は。
応接室にお客さん来てますよ。私帰りますから。あの人もお風呂入ってないわ。
Ah. Unfortunately, it might be Tenma.
なんだそりゃ。
He's been out and about. A lawyer? Maybe?
どうもお待たせしました。あ、
天馬と申します。
Oh.
どうかご協力をお願いします。
そうかい。あんた医者なのか。そうは見えねえがな。その中年夫婦には養女がいて、その娘が20歳になったら殺人犯が連れ去りにやってくる。その時養父母は必ず殺される。
There is a death flag in the last episode for
その
sure.
養父母も娘もどこの誰かもわからねえ。
Ah. That makes it tough, doesn't it?
そりゃ古代妄想もいいとこだ。バカバカしい。そんなもん三流タブロイド紙だって記事にしねえよ。
That's the nature of this truth.
来たんじゃありません。私の考えでは病院を抜け出した後、兄弟は揃ってこのハイデルベルクに来たんです。
あんたの考えではな。
9年前のこちらの新聞を調べさせてください。頼みます。
He just let you in there. Get to it. Oof. It's almost intoxicating, isn't
うち
it?
の社長、大江アレルギーでな。
ありがとうございます。
はあ、日本のお辞儀ってやつかい。どういたしまして。たく。たまにああいうわけのわかんない。
He's diligent. He'll get the info he needs.
頼む。頼むから見つけさせてくれ。
Come back in the morning, he'll be here most likely.
いいのいいの、あいつのことはもう気にしなくて。あのオットーってやつ、よく聞いてみたらニナの白馬の王子様じゃなかったの。
彼はニナのメールにそんなメッセージ入れてないっていうのよ。
ということは、君が失神したのはその男性を見たからだというんだね。
Haha, gotta love that voice. Askeladd's voice.
一瞬見かけただけで、はっきりとは。
どんな感じだった？
Oh boy. Careful, careful.
すごく懐かしいような。
ほう。
She's tensing up. Oh god. If she was to have the same haircut as Johann?
無理しなくて。
絶対役。
Ooh.
あの悪夢を見た時の感じと同じような。
絶対役とはまた宗教的な話になってきたな。
私も教会に通っているわけではありません。
スポーツでもして汗を流せばワンカンなんて吹き飛ぶさ。
I love that voice. Of course, he did this long before Askeladd. He reminds me of one of the characters from Pluto, the trailer.
おう、
さっきいたので何だって聞いたらマウラさんに許可受けたって。
あいつまだいたのか。たく。おい、大丈夫か。おい。
This could be a great side character if he sticks around. Yeah. I love the expressions there.
うちには帰らないんですか？ご家族は？
いねえよ。女房が出てきちまったからよ。仕事で追い。
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the nature of the profession, I suppose.
女房は娘連れて実家に帰っちまった。男は仕事が第一だ。この仕事を理解できねえ女房なんか出てってもらって結構。
すみません、余計なこと。
そうだよ。
タバコ吸いすぎですよ。医者として忠告します。
大きなお世
Yeah, I
話
was gonna say.
だろ。
Tenma, pull it back.
言ってんじゃねえ。
奥さんもあなたの体気遣ってたんですよ。
大きなお世話だ。
おかえり。
They almost feel like grandparents, right?
先のことを考えろか。ガイテル先生。
Brace yourself. The startup. Nostalgic. Oh, I love the sound design there. Yes.
明日誕生日の夜7時ハイデルベルク城で会おう。
もう諦めた方がいいんじゃないのか？
Ha, I love this character design.
俺がその女房迎えに行ったら女房帰ってくると思うか？
ええ。タバコやめたらね。
Tough ask.
どうした？
あった11歳の少年失踪誘拐の可能性もあるが今のところ脅迫など犯人からの連絡は一切なしフォルトナーという人が捜索願いを出している
Oh boy. He's getting real close now.
ありゃ
Oh, he took care of it. Johann took care of
あん
it.
たその犯人は妹が20歳になったら迎えに行くって言ってたな。この記事の男の子がその兄なら
That's today?
ここに生年月日が書いてあるで。今日がその双子の20歳の誕生日だよ。
今からちょっと友達に会って帰るから。
That's so sweet.
ハイデルベルク城で。
ママが誕生日パーティーの準備してるぞ。
Oh god. I'm getting uneasy.
これでわかるかもしれない。私の記憶が。
This has got to be a real location. I'll have to look it up
私
after.
は知りたい。本当の私を。
Sure, yeah.
いいかドクター。俺は例の4件の夫婦殺しのうちケルンの現場に取材に行ってるんだよ。何の目的も感じねえ。何の欲も何の恨みも感じねえ。ただ単に人の命を絶っただけって感じだった。そん
Jeez.
な若造が何の感情もなしに殺しができると思うか？ありゃ
God
若造
damn.
がしでかしたもんじゃねえ。もっとでかい何かだ。
A monster?
でかい何かって
Pure evil?
どうしても言えって言うんなら
うっ
陳腐な表現になるが、ありゃ悪魔の仕業だ。
Akuma.
もし目の前にあの犯人が現れたら俺は迷わずにぶち殺す。
Hey man, anything that can give me chills? A needle drop that can give me chills? Yes.
こんばんは。夜分失礼します。この1986年の男のお子さんの捜索願いの件で
Oh boy. Oh boy.
その話はもう
Ah. They found out about Johann's true nature, perhaps.
私たちニナを本当の娘としてここまで育ててきたんです。波風立てないでください。
Please don't rock the boat.
あなた方は9年前双子を引き取った兄の方は
Don't bring up these
手術の後だ
memories.
そして妹は記憶喪失だった
Oh god.
どういうことですか？
Look at them. Feel so bad for
娘さんに
them.
合わせてください。
娘は今出かけてますが、
どこに
ハイデルベルク城に。
気をつけろ。さっき言ったように相手はとんでもねえ野郎だ。
The doctor
絶
knows.
対死ぬんじゃねえぞ。
マウラーさん
He'll be fine,
ちゃん
but
と生きて帰ってくるんだ。そしたらタバコをやめてやるよ。落ち着きなさい。ん？
no. No. No.
なんてこった。電話線が切られてるぜ。
Oh my god, Johann. Ooh. Yes.
ダメだよ。
That's not Johann. It didn't sound like him. But Johann does like
ここで待ってなきゃ
others to
ダメ
do
だよ。
things for him, right?
あんたがここで待っているようにね。
Oh god. He might be...
待てって言ってるんだ。
アンナ
Oh, look at this.
邪魔すんな。
Oh
邪
god,
魔
this
すん
guy's
なよ。
unhinged. Look at him.
こいつはここで待ってなくちゃいけないんだ。
Yeah, Johann certainly knows how to pick him. Yeah. Nina. Ah, those lessons. The training. Nice.
そいつはいつここに来ると言ったんだ
知らねえよ。ただ
Oh my god, he's back at home. Oh no. Oh no.
君の家が
教えてください。あなたは何者なんですか？
確かに私の病院に担ぎ込まれた時、君はアンナ、そして君の兄
My
さん
god, this is
ヨ
gripping.
ハンという名前だった。
兄さん。
Oof. Look at this. No, 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 no. It's gonna end. God damn it. Great episode, man. Great episode. It's really moving, isn't it? Ah, look at this. Okay. Twins. Cut from the same cloth, perhaps. Those are Korean names. It reminds me of that portion from the Beast Titan theme. Of course, this came long before that though, right? But still. Interesting. Heading towards town or the city. Alright folks, episode 6 of Monster. I've got to say that ending. I mean, of course, it's really quite reminiscent of the siblings I know from the series itself, right? Like I mentioned, the imagery presented there is of, them being so similar, but also the contrast, right? I think by the end of that ending, or the new added scenes, at this point, you kind of see the divergence in the path each one of them end up taking, or the divergence since they left the hospital, maybe. It'll be interesting to kind of keep track of those endings. It was specified to me, or brought to my attention, that indeed they do change every few episodes. So yeah, I'll be keeping track. But then the actual ending of the episode, my goodness. It's almost as if I've got this Schrodinger's cat situation, right? They're both alive and dead at the same time. I'm not gonna know until I get a peek inside that box. What's in the box? God damn. Listen, that's just me being a little bit optimistic, right? Realistically speaking, yeah, I think Johann's done his thing, right? I think he's taken care of the situation. The moment Mara, I believe I might be saying that correctly. I might be slightly butchering it, but the moment he picked up the phone, right? The moment he reaches for the phone, there's just this immediate sense of unease as they're heading towards the phone, right? And the moment the line's been cut, they've been cut, right? It's a jarring feeling, right? Because I just met this character, and listen, over the span of just the 22 minutes, he became such an endearing character, and that's a sign of great writing, to be able to establish a character in that time span, small time span, and then make you feel bad for potentially losing him. Again, I keep saying potentially, but I truly believe that's the end of the line for the sweet old parents, the adoptive parents, and Mara, this fantastic limited appearance supporting cast member, right? And in that, I see some great potential here, exciting potential here, right? In terms of the ensemble cast as a whole, throughout the series as a whole, right? The people Tenma and perhaps even Nina might be running into over the span of this journey. Tenma is certainly on a journey, inner and outer. He's going to face some demons, that's for damn sure. I believe in one of the past discussions I mentioned that, I do believe that Tenma feels a responsibility of perhaps fixing him, or at least trying to pull him out of that abyss. Hell, I say pull him out of the abyss. Johann is the abyss himself. Tenma has most definitely gazed into the abyss, and then the abyss gazes into him as well. So, the opening moments of him being really quite disheveled, right? A bit of a mess. All of a sudden, a lot of these things don't matter as they did before. You cannot blame him. His life has been flipped upside down. He's been rattled to the core. So yeah, I think it's really actually quite realistic. His state in the opening of the episode. I mean, just think about it. Once you experience something like that, once you come across Johann, once you kind of understand that this is the child you saved all those years ago, and then he killed someone right in front of you, and then he's responsible for all these other murders. How do you even begin to think about going back to normal life? So for that reason, I believe it's actually really quite authentic that nothing else has mattered to him since, and he's really kind of let himself go. I mean, Tenma's letting himself go is still quite, mild in comparison to others perhaps. But listen, this is still the early stages. I can see him tumbling a bit deeper into that abyss, into despair. I can totally see him becoming even more rough down the line. Once again, on this journey, inner and outer journey. I mean, him falling asleep in the record room and having that meal, that might be the first time in a long time that he's actually had a decent amount of sleep. And also, it wasn't really by choice, right? His body just gave up. His body just gave up by that point. But I've got to say, I'm so excited and already impressed by the character writing in this anime, in this story, right? And I'm excited because there's strong signs here that for the rest of the narrative or the story, it is going to be, or the character intricacies are going to be driving the story, essentially, right? I mean, 6 episodes in, it is so clear to see the approach that's being taken here, right? And it's exciting. It's really so exciting. This story, this anime as a whole, the whole presentation, it just has that feeling. It ensnares you. Again, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure many of you can relate. My goodness, it just has that factor, doesn't it? It's really quite reminiscent of films like Seven, Silence of the Lambs, Zodiac, my goodness, Hannibal. You can kind of go on and on. There's even elements of The Fugitive in there. And you see there's also elements of American Psycho in there as well, kind of sprinkled in. But yeah, the methodical approach of this anime has been fantastic so far. Really, really quite enjoyable, really quite engaging. The score, my goodness, speaking of engaging, you may have noticed by now that I just kind of go with the flow. I mean, the score that I've experienced so far in these 6 episodes, my goodness, there's a few tracks in here that are just intoxicating, right? As they should be. Right? It kind of goes hand in hand with the gloomy, dark nature of this. And I've stated before, to me, that atmosphere is attractive in a story. Be it a game, be it film, television, anime, anything. And I feel like the ones that really kind of execute that mood, that atmosphere, it pulls you in, right? It helps you really kind of seat yourself inside of that universe, inside of the world, right? And there's great signs that it's being fleshed out, right? And I mentioned the potential of great side characters, supporting cast members, ensemble cast as a whole, right? And it's a long anime, so I'm sure I'm going to come across so many unique characters, right? Much like Mora. Again, maybe there's a chance he might not be dead, but listen, let's be realistic. All 3 of them are dead in there, right? And there you have a potential speedball, a massive one at that. Say Dr. Tenma and Nina go in there, right? Most likely they are going to go in there, and they come across these bodies. I mean, sooner or later, Dr. Tenma is going to run into a corner. At one point, he is going to have to decide that he has to go after Johann. I mean, he is going after him now, but in a different capacity. He might have to try and kill Johann. I can completely see him arriving at that conclusion at some point. And then in that, you have this really exciting inner struggle, right? Because he's going to have to break bad, right, Dr. Tenma, to be able to, go after him in that manner, in that capacity. But, his identity as a doctor, his principles as a doctor, are not just going to disappear, right? So that's the internal struggle that I'm really quite excited about as well, right? Listen, this is a man that can actually do a lot of good on this journey, right? Like I said, the structure of this and this journey that he might be going on, again, going after Johann, again, it remains to be seen how Nina might kind of play into this. I'm not sure yet. I just haven't seen enough if she is going to join him, and then just those two are out there. The crazy thing is I'm already finding myself just anticipating any glimmer of Johann, any appearance of Johann. And the thing I really like here is that they're not putting him out there, right? He's this ghost, like I mentioned, he's like this ghost figure, right? He does things, he controls things, he manipulates from the shadows. But, him being this manipulator, potentially a master manipulator, is also on display because, he made the choice to appear in front of his sister, Anna, or Nina, right? Because he knew it's going to trigger something inside of her, and he knew that it's just in her nature to go after these answers, to get to the bottom of this, and that she is ultimately going to come to the castle, right? And fair enough, she wants to find herself, she wants to know herself, her true self, and the concept of identity seems to be another major one that's already at play here. One's identity, right? There's a lot of focus on the names, right? Names that are taken away from you, names that are given to you, right? And your name is a special thing, right? Maybe not to Johann. Johann is a different case altogether. I'm speaking of Nina at the moment, so I empathize, and I'm all for it. I'm all for her trying to find herself, to find her true self, to learn about her past self, right? To get over that trauma. I think that could be part of her journey as well, getting over that trauma. Yeah, I'm really quite excited about the prospect of Tenma, going to different places. Listen, man, it doesn't look like they called the cops, right? Because the phone was out. So yeah, now the cops didn't even know anything about this, and the only person that could have been on Tenma's side, that could have spoken on his behalf, Mara, there's a good chance he's gone. So once again, Tenma finds himself against the ropes. I mean, actually, it's coming in threes already, isn't it? The 3 that died because of the poison candy, the 3 that could potentially be dead inside of the house right now, right? Then you've got Johann, Nina, and Tenma. There's 3 of them. Yeah, something to keep an eye out for. Some of these reoccurring themes and symbolism. But yeah, if Tenma goes in there and he sees Mara dead on the floor, if he sees Nina's adoptive parents dead on the floor, he brought Mara into this. Imagine the number that's going to do on his psyche. At that point, he's going to have to make a choice. I cannot bring anyone else in on this. I have to do this solo, right? Unless, of course, Nina kind of joins him as well. But yeah, he's going to see firsthand that, bringing someone else in on this got them killed. Indirectly, he got him killed. That's how he's going to feel. Dr. Tenma, that is. And of course, if indeed Nina's adoptive parents are dead, now Tenma is going to feel even more responsibility for Nina, to protect her. It actually kind of even reminds me of a situation from One Piece. I'm not going to go into it because it's spoilers. But yeah, going back to my point about Dr. Tenma and his principles as a doctor, right? This is a kind man. This is a patient man. This is a man that is quite understanding. So I think, he could actually be this glimmer of hope, glimmer of light a beacon in the darkness. Because even though he might not be practicing at the hospital, I can see him making a lot of change in the lives of the people he might come across. And they could be doing the same thing for him as well, right? I can see a lot more Mara and Tenma type situations. It's just in Dr. Tenma's nature to help, isn't it? Help the ones that need the help. So I'm really quite excited for that aspect of this character arc, right? One end, he's got the principles of a doctor, strong principles as a doctor, and then you've got, you know, him tackling this inner monster, perhaps, right? Him having to potentially go after Johann to kill him. And I think I might actually get a really strong indication really soon, right? If indeed they do come across their dead bodies in there. It'll be really interesting to see how Tenma reacts to that and how he kind of shapes his path from that point on. And you know how I just mentioned that he could be this shining light. He could be this beacon in the darkness. You know, it kind of reminds you of the staging of this anime or this story as well, right? It's really quite distinct, really quite specific, time era as well. You know, there's got to be a lot of bitterness, hostility still, right? So I didn't even get to that aspect of it just yet. I'm sure that's going to play out as well, you know, the actual location, right? It's almost as if it was handpicked. And of course, you know, because of the time era, a lot of really unique situations are going to come up. And listen, you know, clearly it's by design that he is essentially an outsider. He is Japanese in Germany, in that specific time era of Germany as well. So, you know, everything here feels deliberate, researched. I mean, you know, this anime might actually be the most authentic depiction of humans that I've seen, you know. A lot of times you'll see really attractive characters, right? Even in grounded anime, perhaps. Even in Death Note. I mean, it's not really that grounded. I mean, it has grounded and realistic elements, but, you know, there's a supernatural element there as well. But, you know, a lot of the characters are just drawn really quite attractive. But here you see the imperfections, the flaws, unique humans, authentic humans on display. I love that. I just love that. And, you know, you cannot forget the car ride conversations, right? A classic. So effective. It really is quite effective in every single medium, and it's really quite effective here. I love that conversation that takes place, right? And, you know, Mara mentioned that he was at the site of one of the murders in Cologne. So was that actually him talking to Lungi? It might have been. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a time skip, so he clearly had a bit more hair on the top, right? Looked a bit younger, but I think that might have been him. I'll have to go in and double check. But that's a thing that I'm really liking here. You know, to perhaps understand Johann, you're not going to learn anything from Johann himself. He's far too elusive. He's a ghost, right? Even though he's a puppet master from the shadows, you're going to learn more about him by going to his past, following that trail, right? Coming across people that have been in his life, perhaps. And, you know, piece by piece, I think, over the span of this fantastic anime, I mean, I have, you know, no issue calling it that already. I think over the span of this 74 episode run, piece by piece, you know, I'll begin to learn so much more about Johann. It could be key in terms of learning how he ended up on this path. And, you know, that takes me back to some of the points I made in my first episode's discussion, or my discussion for the first episode. There's a monster inside of everyone. The capacity is there, right? And listen, there could be a reason Johann ended up on this path. There could be a reason. You know, again, nature versus nurture. It's possible that he was born this way, but listen, you know, there's a long time yet in this story. Just even in episode 1, it just felt like it's not just about to be as simple as, oh, this is the monster. Yes, you know, Johann can certainly be that monster, but, you know, I think it is going to be asking a lot of complex questions. You know, who is the true monster? Who are the true monsters? But yeah, this is just exciting stuff. I'm really quite dialed in, and I'm really quite excited to be sharing this experience as well. So if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you're interested in early access to the next few episodes right now, or perhaps even timer-based full length, consider checking out the Patreon page and supporting the channel. If you're interested, the links are in the description and the pinned comment. It's the first comment, right at the top of the comment section. You cannot miss it. I say that, but it's beginning to feel like maybe it is kind of easy to miss it because somehow people just don't look at it. Like they'll ask it, I've noticed that a lot of times they'll have a question, but like it's the first, I don't know. Let me know if it actually is easy to kind of spot the pinned comment. I'm beginning to think maybe it's not, because I just keep seeing people kind of just skipping it and asking questions that are essentially answered in that pinned comment. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for episode 7. Till then, take it easy.